I told y'all Charles was sneaky. Find out what he and Zane are up to this week on the Younger After Show right here on AfterBuzz Comedies right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Happy Hump Day. My name is Tsahai, and welcome to the Younger After Show. Today, we have news and gossip, our special segment, Younger-isms, predictions, and find out what Charles is up to, because I told y'all, something ain't right. Something ain't right. But first, let me introduce you to our lovely panel. We have a newbie today.
Hey.
This is Farai.
It's been a long time. I should have been here, but I'm glad I'm here now, and I love this show, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yes.
So excited to have you.
And then we have our girl Taylor on Younger-isms.
Always so excited. There's so many good ones. There are every week.
All the time. This one especially. And I know you see that Alice isn't here today. She's on vacation. She's traveling the world, but we send her our love, and she'll be back when we get back up on July 10th.
Yes.
Yes. So what were your overall thoughts on the show, this episode?
Juicy. I loved it. Everything was happening at every minute, every moment. I loved it. And it left me wanting more, which is all I ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of surprises too, especially with the Quinn storyline. Like, there were so many twists and turns I did not see coming there. And I'm so glad that I didn't just kind of predict what was going to happen there. I loved being shocked by it.
Yeah, this one, I don't know. Every week I'm like, we know this show. This is season 6. We've been there, done that. But they keep me on my toes. They keep it fresh, and that's what I love. So let's get into it. We first see the episode open up with Josh, Clare, and the whole crew having dinner. First of all, you know how I feel about Clare.
You love her.
No.
I love Claire.
What?
She means well. She's just,
Oh, no. I believe that Claire knows what she's up to. She's had this baby. And you know what, Taylor? I do believe we should still get a paternity test.
I'm telling you guys, season finale, we're going to find out something shady about Claire. I'm glad that you like her, though, because it gives us some spice to this panel, because me, Alice, and Tsahai are all like, no.
Yeah.
She's
but
just a foreign girl doing the damn thing in America. What's so wrong with that?
Irish.
Now, I did make a note that I appreciate the show bringing light to the issues of immigration for many people. You know, they made a lighthearted issue of it, but it's a serious issue, and I appreciate that they're kind of showing the struggles of, trying to become a citizen, and what people do sometimes. It happens, and it's not always malicious, but we'll discuss that a little bit later. So we see this dinner happening. The baby's there. Do we know the name of the baby?
Gemma, right?
Gemma.
Gemma. So
That's
it's a
cute.
girl?
That's so, Gen Z. I love it.
I'm so glad it's not Liza, too, because
Oh
that
my
was something I
God.
was
That would've
so
been
worried about.
So the baby's a baby girl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I didn't know if they were being cool and naming the little boy Gemma. Okay, cool. So baby
Well,
Gemma.
we never really got that answer because the balloon went in the air last week.
Right?
So it was like...
We just saw him holding a baby.
Yeah, and then the Uber and
Right.
all that mess.
Speaking of the Uber, Maggie's, traumatized by this, and we'll talk about her trauma. But Lauren thinks that at this point that Josh and Claire are about to get back together. At the beginning of the episode, did you get those vibes from them?
Oh, yeah. And when they were laying down on the floor together, I was like, oh, no, is this Endgame?
I thought it was
worried.
Endgame because that's kind of the reason why, Josh and Liza broke up, so that he could find someone that could, fulfill everything he wanted to fulfill in life. So I was like, maybe Claire is that person. So I would not mind if they did get together. I mean, is there anybody else?
Not
There
yet.
are other fish in the sea.
That's right.
Ones who are not as shady and sketch.
Exactly. And you know what? Josh is fine, as we know, so he doesn't have a problem getting the ladies.
What makes her shady, though?
I just didn't like how she popped up with this pregnancy. I thought that was really suspicious. She could have emailed him. She could have told him.
You want to hear that you're having a baby over email? Email?
Just prepare me a little bit. Don't just show up on my doorstep. I just thought that was weird. And, even the whole time, the fact that she didn't respect what he already had with Liza, she kind of swooped in and Josh was willing to go, but I don't know, something about her.
The timing of this is just too convenient.
I guess
Agreed.
that's true.
So Josh and Claire have this baby eyes, and then we see Quinn at the office, back again, not even invited. She just shows up because she's just like, this is my place, and I've given you all the money so I can run things. And we find out that, surprisingly, her book is a bestseller. Were you guys shocked by that?
I was shocked.
Very shocked. I almost believed it because I was like, well, America's crazy. So, you never know. Because the things that you think aren't going to do well do great because there's just so much hype around whether it's going to be good or bad. So I was like, oh, maybe it was just one of those situations.
Right.
And, like, I could honestly see myself buying and, like, hate reading it because I, like, love bad movies.
Oh, and
like,
we
I
all do
love
that.
trashy movies. So I could see if there are other people like me buying this book to consume it just to kind of, like, you know, talk trash about it.
But you've done that before where you, like,
Absolutely.
there's a TV show that you may, like, talk about all the time that's so outlandish and ridiculous, but you watch it all the time and you tell everyone, like, oh, I hate it, but you're like, but I love the drama. It fuels me, like, throughout.
That's like a
the
human
week.
thing. We
Yeah.
love complaining.
Love complaining, love to hate. Love to hate.
Yes,
we
yes.
love to hate Claw.
I also love to be right because I think I predicted last week that this book would do well.
You did.
I did because I knew, but I didn't know how. But we later find out that it was due to her buying her own, buying the book in bulk and also getting bots to like tweet about it. So it was a little bit shady. But I'm kind of going in order of the episode this time. So we also have Quinn requesting that Kelsey interview her for the cut. And I felt like that was like a jab at Kelsey, like, nah, you didn't think my book would do well, so now I'm going to force you to interact with me and interview me.
Absolutely. She has her, like, she's just trying to keep Kelsey, like, under control and, like, what I think she thinks is, like, her place, and I don't like it at all.
She wants everyone to have her, like, boss lady mindset, when she's not even really a boss, so she is a scam. Don't believe her.
She's a
I don't care
scammer.
what the Claw words say in that novel, but she is not living by what she is if she's
Or is she?
buying things in bulk.
Is she living by her book? Because isn't the book about her kind of like stepping on anyone to get to where she wants
Yeah,
to?
but-
So is she living her
But
truth?
you're not supposed to get caught doing it, and she got caught.
And she's taking shortcuts. Like, if she was an actual boss lady, she would have spent the time to, like, actually market it and promote it herself and not just be like, okay, well, it's not where, you know, not where I want it to be, so I'm just going to buy them all in bulk. Like, she should have figured out a solution that was not
As obvious.
exactly,
Yeah.
or, like, having the dagger next to the name. Like, just do something that,
And
you
her
know,
excuse
fix
is
it.
like, oh, well, universities are using it. And it's like, really?
I was like, well, that's quick thinking because
That was quick thinking, because the universities do that, and especially when you're forced to buy it, too.
Right. Something that we don't want you to force you to do is watch our AfterBuzz shows. We want you to do that willingly. Taylor, tell us why.
Yes. Before we move on to our next topic, we just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and helping us be the ESPN of TV Talk. As you know, we're on so many platforms. We are on the YouTube comedy channel. If you are watching us right now, hop in that chat. We want to know what you guys think. There's a couple people in it right now, so thank you for being there. Definitely subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our other channels. We have dramas, we have sci-fi, we cover like the entire gambit here. So do that, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and we're also on iTunes, give us 5 stars there. We're on Spotify, we're literally everywhere, you guys. Just thank you so much for watching. AfterBuzz has just meant so much to all of us, so definitely keep on enjoying our content and tell your friends about us.
Yes, thank you.
Wow, we
And
really are taking over.
we
are,
really
guys.
we're about to run the world. Thank you, Maria and Kevin.
Yes.
And thank you to everyone that commented last week. Shout out to Layla Kumar and Gabby. They were in our comments giving us some tea and their thoughts. So continue to do that, and we really, really appreciate you. So moving on to the next topic is Maggie being afraid of the ladybits, which I found hilarious because Maggie is never afraid of anything. So was that funny for you guys, or did you feel like it was a little off to see Maggie like this?
She has the most obscure storylines. I'm just like thinking about the time like she had the mustache lady that she was like into but like didn't like her mustache. She
Forgot
like
about
went
that.
to a Jewish bath one. I'm just like, what? Like Debi Mazar is like so good at playing completely wacky and keeping it grounded, but I'm just like, what are you writing for her? This is nuts.
I don't blame her for being like scared. That was the way she described it too. She's like, she did it in the back of an Uber. Her legs were over me. Like, don't tell me that would not traumatize you.
Look, I'm sure she's been in the back of an Uber with legs on her shoulders in a positive way before. So.
You're so right. That's so
Not her
Maggie.
first time. We know Maggie.
Never in an Uber.
Oh yeah, she's so adventurous. Are you kidding
Exactly.
me?
Hello. We love her. Yeah, I loved. So Lauren takes Maggie to this group where she can, try to talk through her issues after seeing the birth. And the men's accounts of what they saw when their wives or girlfriends gave birth were hilarious.
The arm was just dangling out of it for 5 minutes.
It reminds me of that scene in, like, Knocked Up. Do you know when the guy, like, goes into the delivery room and he sees the head poking out and he's like, oh my God, and, like, runs away and he's like, I'm never going to be able to see any of that.
I was going to ask you guys, have you ever, like, seen a video or seen someone give birth before?
Other than what I just described, I went on a field trip one time, and I forget what museum I was at. I don't know what museum was doing this, but basically they were showing you, like, a module of, like, how it happens, a whole video, and then it ends with that. And I was, like, 10. I was like, why are they doing that? Honestly, true story. It was a museum in Boston. Forget the name. I will figure it out next time and drop it here if it comes back to that point. But, yes, that
and it was a human, not, like, an animal.
No, it was a human.
Wow.
Human.
Wow.
And then I remember the person who was a chaperone was like, I've done it. And I was like... shook
This
to my
is
core.
fine.
How about you? Have you ever seen?
No, I saw a cow give birth.
Right. I've seen it online. I think I saw it on Instagram. A woman do a home birth. Yes.
Oh.
And it was very graphic, but I was like, you know what? You gotta learn these things at some point.
I mean,
so.
I did watch Private Practice. I feel like that.
Oh
is the
yeah,
same
that's like an
thing.
equivalent. If anything, I'm like basically like a surgeon after watching like seasons of Grey's
Right?
Anatomy.
Agreed.
Like, who needs
Totally,
medical
totally.
school when you have Shonda Rhimes?
Right,
Like,
exactly. I'm a firefighter because I do the Station 19 after show.
Of
Exactly.
course.
So what I loved also about this group therapy scene was we saw Miss Nicole Ari Parker, who is the wife of Mr. Boris Kojo. And if you were fans of like the show Soul Food, I was like, oh, I've never seen her in this type of role. And I was also excited to see her like as a, lover of the ladies. I was like, because she's married to this like hunk, you know what I'm saying? Like this heartthrob. So to see her with Maggie, it was like interesting.
She's beautiful.
If you're gonna be an actress, you better be diverse.
Mhm.
That's true.
And like, who would say no to that part?
No.
It's David Mazar.
It's a great part, and you're extending your resume.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
even better.
And her hair looked great. I was like loving you. Looking
And
great.
her outfit.
Everybody's outfits.
Yeah, everybody's outfits look
You-
good.
from
But it's
the-
New York. Everyone's always just trying to be the baddest.
Exactly.
So.
From the moment she stepped into that room, that was like, oh, Maggie is gonna go for that. Like, I could just tell from the first moment.
Exactly.
A
That's
part
her
of me-
type.
A part of me was like, is she just pretending this problem is still happening so she can go on a date with this
Right?
woman?
Me too,
Yeah.
a little bit.
That could happen, but I love how Maggie's supposed to be there to heal, and she's still checking out the ladies. Like she's like, any opportunity I get to, meet someone, I'm available. You gotta go where the action
I
is.
respect it.
Me too. I also loved when Lauren was like, yeah, you don't have to be afraid of men here. And Maggie was like, I'm not afraid of men. And she was like, oh yeah, me neither. But I thought that was funny because it was like, sometimes I feel like some situations you should be afraid of guys, but I was like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that thinks like that. Moving on. Let's talk about Audrey and this book and this podcast, Exonerated, that was all the rage. Everyone was listening to it. Even Charles and Liza had like a little role playing in the museum action. Okay, let's talk about that. Charles and Liza have been, we've been waiting to see this happen for a long time. Are you surprised that they're still in like this honeymoon stage where they're like role playing and still having fun like that? Or in my mind, I'm like, okay, we've seen them for a couple of weeks now. I guess only 3 episodes. So I'm thinking that the relationship's getting stale by now. But
Well, that's
No,
that's
don't
why I
think
think
so.
they did it, because they're using it to spice it up and like keep it fresh. Like, this is a very interesting way to go about it. So I think that like they're finding outlets in order to keep it exciting, because you're like, they don't have the secret anymore, obviously, and they don't see each other at work all the time, and yeah, they're in a different place. So I think this is their way of being like, ooh, it's still like sexy, we still got it.
That's true, because when they were at work, that was like their whole cat and mouse game, being at work, and now it's like, oh, well, you're not the boss. Like, what's the next thing? Oh, the boss and the assistant. Like, no, it's not that anymore. Now it's like the museum. So, I don't know. I like it, especially when you've been with or been lusting after someone or loving someone for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much aggression that maybe the honeymoon phase is just longer.
okay, and you did tell us that you're Team Charles, right?
I am Team Charles.
Finally have
Yeah,
someone
I
else.
am. Because Josh is so young. Like, I get why she broke up with him, but it's like
Wait.
they're still friends. She's basically helping him raise the baby. So, like,
Wait a minute. So are you saying Josh is too young for Liza?
not too young for Liza, but like she broke up with him for a reason. If he wants to go and live his life and be with Claire or not be with Claire and then have this baby and raise it and whatever, then that's his prerogative. And she let him do that. And she's in love with Charles. So I don't see the problem.
I am and will always be Team Josh, and I have hope deep in my heart that they'll get back together. Just saying.
Okay, but we need an even split on this panel. We finally have it. You and Alice can have your team Josh, and we're going to be on the winning
Fine.
team.
I didn't know you
here.
liked Charles either. I thought you said you were Team Josh earlier.
No.
Okay. Oh, yes, then we are friends.
Love it. There's a reason we're on this side of the table.
We'll watch
Fine.
the wedding for the series finale
Love
of
it.
Liza and Charles.
Please. Well, so this book, Redmond comes to pitch this book to Kelsey and Liza, and they're super excited. You know, everyone's been listening to this podcast, and Audrey is this woman who has been accused of killing a husband and wife after meeting them briefly, and I guess having a threesome with them. Is that what they said?
Mm-hmm.
And which I found that whole scenario interesting, and I was like, the writers of Younger keeping it fresh and hot all the time. I would have never thought of something like that. So Audrey comes in for this meeting and is a bit of a weirdo. What did you guys think of Audrey? Did you love her? Do we think that Audrey is the killer?
I was just gonna ask that. I think she is.
Absolutely. She's so creepy.
Everyone's afraid of her.
Or is it like an act? Is Audrey simply playing up to what people think she is?
No, it's kind of like OJ. He wrote a book and people were afraid of him, but whoever worked with him on the book, like, they still published it. So that's what I was thinking of the whole time. I was like, oh, well.
OJ.
If OJ can do it, this girl can.
And you know, OJ.
You'll never really know.
Right,
Like,
right. And then OJ is on Twitter now. If you just.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes. He's on the social media. So Redmond pitches this book, and Liza and Kelsey are scared of her, but lie to her and say, okay, we totally believe that you didn't do this in order to get the pitch and to have the sole rights to option it. The sole option, I guess it's what it's called at the time. And then we see the handsome Zane. You know, I love Zane. I do. He ends up going to a liquor store, and Kelsey is there. And they are, just like fancy people do, buying a bottle of Dom Perignon.
Yeah, he handed $300 bills. I was like, oh, we're doing that kind of drink tonight.
They're not at the Trader Joe's getting the $2 chuck.
Also, do they all live within a 1 mile radius of each other? Because they're always running into each other at the most obscure places.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay, this isn't the only corner store in Brooklyn.
No, right?
Come on.
Exactly. So they happen to meet, and this is where Kelsey is like, yo, Zane, what's going on? Do you have a job or not? And he's very vague about it. But then he invites her to finish the only bottle of Dom Perignon left in the store, and they have an evening together. Have we decided if we're here for this relationship? I know last week we talked about it a little bit.
I am not.
Oh.
Tell me your thoughts. You're new. Let us know what you're thinking.
Once a scammer, always a scammer. She should not trust him. They've thrown each other under the bus many times. It's just not a trustworthy relationship. Business is not good with those two. I think if you're in separate fields and you're like that, it's fine. But being in the same thing, it's too competitive.
Oh my gosh, but you like Clare and Josh?
Ugh.
This is some hypocritical stuff going on here.
Claire and Josh, though, they're not in the world of publishing and the high stakes of it all. But
I'm totally kidding.
You know what I mean?
Well, thank you. See, Farai, as we get to know you, we need to know, you have to bring us up to speed on where you are and things.
Where do you stand?
Exactly, because it's going to determine where you sit on this panel. Okay, there's a division here.
Well, I have to be in the center. I'm the one with all the obscure opinions.
So also, after Kelsey and Zane have their romantic evening, we then see Claire putting her paws all over Josh after, he empties the diaper genie. First of all, remember when he and Liza bought the diaper genie? Someone was like, oh, and remember he didn't even know what it was when she went to buy it with him. Now he's emptying it, and I was like, Josh is such a good dad.
Yeah, he's pure.
What is it like for you guys to see him? We've seen Josh evolve so much. So to see him as young, hip, single tattoo guy luring Liza into his tattoo parlor and then, making out with her, to now he's a dad holding babies and emptying diaper genies. What are your thoughts on this Josh evolution?
He was always meant to be that guy.
You think so?
He was never a bad guy.
I thought Josh was going to be jet setting around the world and being at all the hip events. I thought Josh would be an influencer by now.
He's always been sort of wise though, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like this feels very natural for him. I think at first I was like, oh, how's that gonna work? But he is. He's very nurturing. He's very considerate of others for the most part. But it has been cool because this show has been on for 6 seasons now. I remember one of the first episodes he would brought Liza to play dodgeball or something. Something very sort of
mid-20s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now it's really cute to see
And he's
just
always
how much
been
he's
grounded.
grown. He has.
Yeah, he has that tattoo shop that keeps him in, like, having a day-to-day. Like, he's stable enough to be a dad.
He's an entrepreneur. Yeah, he's always been a good guy. It's a little awkward for me to see him in this role, but I'm happy to see him there. It does bring me up to speed. It's kind of like in real life when your friends have a baby and it's like, whoa, is this what we're doing now? Like, okay, guess it's time for that. So I'm kind of adjusting to it. Maybe it's because I wished he and Liza had a baby and not freaking Claire.
I don't know. She already has her daughter Caitlin that she sees
Yeah.
every 5 years.
Caitlin, where are you?
Charles
Red
is
facing.
Liza's baby.
I know.
Am I right?
Right.
That's her new baby, Charles. What else? Okay.
She can take him to the museum.
Ugh, goodness. Also, speaking of the museum, when Liza kept on leaving to do these like escapades with Charles, did you think that the girls were gonna get mad? Because remember, Kelsey said, we just sat down to eat and she's leaving right now. Do you think there's going to be, that's like continuation of the rift that we saw last week from Kelsey in regards to Charles?
Oh, totally. Especially now that this Mercury thing is happening. It's going to be extra tension because she's going to try and keep the peace because she's going to be like, oh, well, I'm with him in a relationship but I'm in business. And then Kelsey's going to be like, choose one. That's how it's going to be. Calling it, claiming it in the name of Jesus.
Hold on for the predictions,
Yes.
okay? Hold it. Save it. I think so too. I think Liza is at a point where she's trying to still hold on to her job, keep her relationship with Kelsey the same, but things are definitely changing because of her relationship with Charles. So, and sometimes, is it going to be her girls or is it going to be her guy? We will see.
Just like a dramatic pause.
I know.
I don't know.
Yes.
We know the answer.
I don't know. Have you guys ever been in that position where you were dating someone that your friends did not like?
I'm the friend who doesn't like them.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And what did you pressure your friend to like?
No, I don't do that specifically because the moment you say something, it immediately goes south.
Yeah,
If
and
you
they,
just stay quiet and then they break up with them on their own. And sometimes your friends stay with them because they want to prove you wrong. That's the thing. So then if you don't say anything and they're like, oh, I did it, and you're like, finally. Then they'll be like, why did you tell me? It's like, because you figured it out on your own. And then you look like the good friend. Anyway, that's the end of my TED Talk.
I like that strategy. I like that. What about you, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm actually in the exact same way. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. But like inside, you're like, thank God we don't have to see them coming.
Inside, I say it out loud. I'm like, oh, thank God. Let's do everything we were doing before.
Well, that's I guess true because when like they go through a breakup, then you like kind of just you gotta trash it.
But they're scamming too because they call you all the time now once they're broken up and they always want to hang out now.
Well, I think Kelsey's doing a good job of like, being there for Liza, but giving her the space that she needs to let this new relationship blossom. So we then see Quinn. We find out that Quinn's sales are a hoax. Like I mentioned, the bots are buying the tweets. And the book has been bought in bulk by, I guess, her. She bought her own darn book to make herself look good in order to be able to do the press rounds. But what Kelsey does when she's interviewing her is spills the bean about her. What race is she running?
Running for Senate.
Senator of California.
Her California senator run. What did you think about Kelsey's move in doing that?
I thought it was genius because she didn't look like the bad guy. She looked like she was so supportive. She was like, I'm so excited to like tell you that like my great friend like has this great news, and she's being like the fakest, pettiest person. And I loved it. I thought it was so smart.
Like Redmond said, Kelsey, you're a messy bitch who lives for drama.
Yes.
I loved that was the best.
Because she came off like a good person. She destroyed Quinn's life. I think there's gonna definitely be a lot of backlash from Quinn, but I thought it was ingenious.
Yeah, that Kelsey is quick on her feet because I was like, whoa.
It took me a while to like understand how that was going. You and I were like, wait, what?
What does
And
this
then
mean now?
Yeah, and then you had to like explain it. I was like, oh wait, that was actually amazing.
Yeah, because I just remembered Quinn was like, it's so hard being a woman running for office. You have to do it at the exact right time. And Kelsey's like, fine, then we're gonna just, make that not happen.
Exactly. What I didn't like about Quinn is when Kelsey and Liza tried to talk to her about why she bought her own book. She was very like nonchalant about it because she was like, well, I don't understand publishing. And she was only thinking about herself, not taking into account how it affected the careers of Liza and Kelsey.
And the company she invested in.
True.
Yeah. So she's not a smart businesswoman.
Right.
Clearly.
She's a selfish one.
Yeah, and if she's gonna act this way for like Millennial and this publishing company, like we cannot let her be the senator of California.
Girl,
No.
we already got some
Not
shady
okay.
We
business
already
happening
have our own problems.
all over the place. Lauren then has a heart-to-heart with Josh and asks him, hey, what do you want to do about this whole Clare situation? First of all, I don't think we see Lauren and Josh interact enough, and I need more of it in my life. I need more Lauren.
I love their friendship.
Yeah.
She always gives really good advice. She's always helping everybody. Do you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's a good businesswoman.
She's a very
She's
good
what
business-
Quinn wants to be, I think.
Hella good PR.
Right, you're right.
Exactly. I think we need to see more Lauren like activity. Like remember that earlier in the show we saw more about her life, who she was dating when she was dating that doctor, but now it's kind of like she's in and out. I'm glad she's working at Millennial, but I need more from her. I just need more things happening, and I will give you some more Lauren action in our news and gossip segment today. So wrapping up, Josh says, you know what, I care for Clare, but I don't think we are meant to be together. And that was music to my ears. I was nervous. Because when we saw him get down on one knee last week, I was like, oh no, please don't do this, Josh. So I was really happy about that. What did you guys think about that decision that Josh made?
Distraught, obviously. There are a couple goals.
No, not at all.
I really liked that it was mutual because I really thought it was going to be either Clare breaking Josh's heart or Josh breaking her heart. And so the fact that it was like they came together and were on the same page, I was like, oh, this is a nice, refreshing change from what usually is happening on this show. And I love that they subverted the scene where he gets down on the knee. I was like, will you divorce me? I thought that was such fun writing right there because it tricked us out in that promo last week.
They really did. And
Yeah.
even while he was talking with her, when he said, are we together? I thought I was like, here we go. Now we're gonna find out what devilish activity she's up to. But she was like, oh, I'm glad you didn't think we were together. Also, we're on the same page. And I was like, darn.
You're just waiting.
I'm
waiting
still
to get her.
I know Claire's up to something. I'm just waiting to see what it is. And also when he got down on one knee and I was like, no, don't do it. Again, when he said divorce, I was happy. But now, back to my mention about immigration, what does that mean for Clare and her immigration issues? Because right now they're married. Her papers are still being processed, and she has a child, right? That I guess is an American citizen, right? So the child is straight. She's still not an American citizen, so she still has that citizenship issue. So now that they're getting a divorce, that's going to stop everything. And what does that mean for her? I have a prediction about the baby. I'm going to leave it, but I'm thinking the baby will be left with Josh because of this immigration issue. Sorry, couldn't hold it, Farai. Couldn't hold it.
Do you think, maybe it'll end the scene with the FBI raiding his apartment and taking her away? Can you imagine?
That's
That'd be
so dark.
dramatic.
No, this is not Law and Order SVU. Like, this is Younger.
I know, but like that could give it some edge. That would definitely make you watch next time, wouldn't it?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, no,
It
that'd
could
be a
happen.
good
It
one.
could
Sorry, I
happen.
couldn't save it for predictions, but that's how it's gonna end.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, I think it could maybe that's why. I think that the immigration thing is going to play out a little bit longer. Thankfully, Josh's relationship with Clare does not play out any longer. Then we went into that weird yesterday commercial. We didn't know what was going on. We were like, is this a commercial? Is this part of the show? It threw me off a little bit, but I still want to see the movie.
Yesterday.
Yeah. I think that it was a commercial. I don't think that was actually part of the show.
Because I was like, when did we
No.
jump back into the office? We were in a totally different location. Loved it. And I love seeing the cast. You did mention during episode 1 that all the commercials had all the cast in it.
Yes.
So it was great, but threw me off a little bit. Then Liza goes to Charles's house and sees like some papers on the table and ends up reading them, as most people do. If you are at your spouse's house, you just like read their bills and stuff. What I loved is, did you know that Liza had a key to his house?
You just called him her spouse, which I personally
She
love.
secretly ships them.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but I think we have a secret shipper.
That was a mistake. A bit of a slip. Not a ship, a slip. Okay?
Sorry, carry on.
So, did you think that they were at a point where Liza had a key? Like, in my mind, I'm still adjusting to them.
Yeah, I don't think that's. I didn't think that was weird.
No?
They're in an older, mature relationship where people do things like that.
Got it. Okay.
Like, they don't split the check. Like, it's her turn one day, it's his turn the other. They do adult things.
Okay, they're
so
grown
when
up.
she sees the paper, she's like, oh, he's going broke? It's like, no, Liza, he's scamming you.
Right. We find out later that, so Charles is very vague and then tries to, again, he's being sneaky. He doesn't tell her why he's, taking money out against his home and why he has all these bills. He just tries to lure her with sex again. And I see what you're up to, Charles, and you're not slick. So then, Kelsey, okay, we already talked about that. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. We find out that that there's a company that has taken the Audrey book off the table, and the company is called Mercury, and Zane works for that company. I need the dun-dun-dun.
Snap.
That's not even a dun-dun-dun. Totally saw that coming.
You did?
Well, they've been setting that up for, the past 2 episodes.
I just didn't, the fact that they're already, I thought the company was going to be established and then they would start doing shady stuff. I didn't think they were going to start stealing from Millennium from the jump. Like, darn.
Oh, duh. Charles
I
is a
wasn't
shark.
surprised.
He's been in this publishing game forever. He knows how it goes, especially since he helped put up Millennial. He's dealing with Zane. He's a smart one. He's an octopus. He's just got 8 legs everywhere.
This is why I'm telling you, we should definitely keep this Sneaky Charles hashtag going because it's a thing. So that was the episode. We are about to find out what's happening, but let's get into some of our special segments. Let's get into our Younger-isms.
Yes, guys. Younger-isms. Just to refresh, if you guys are new to this show, welcome, first of all. Our special segment every week is Younger-isms because the show has so many funny lines from so many different characters. And so we are going to share some of our favorites with you. Tsahai, do you have one?
Yes, it was during the men's lady parts group session where the guy said something about the placenta, and then he says, "Did you know they make rubber gloves that go all the way up to the elbow?" I thought that was pretty funny. My other line was from Maggie when she said, "The only thing white women love more than Pinterest is murder." I thought that was
I
pretty
wrote that one
That
down too.
is, that was mine too, but I have another one. No, that was funny. Mine is, Kelsey, you're a messy bitch who lives for drama, because I see that on Twitter everywhere. I love that guy, Redmond. He's so funny, and I love when he's involved because he's always throwing them under the bus or shading them, and then they always kind of get him back, and then he still screws them over, and they're just but I loved that.
Redmond, do you guys remember him from his Ugly Betty days? That's when I first
I have never seen Ugly Betty.
See, I'm showing my age.
I
But
believe
yes.
he's a Broadway actor too.
Oh, just like the rest of them.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're in New York, you've probably been on Broadway.
Okay, got it. What
Both
was yours?
of my Younger-isms are also from Redmond because he's hilarious, and the way he delivers these lines are so good. I love how I think either Kelsey or Liza was like, "What was that?" And he goes, "A critical lack of media training."
Oh my god.
And then the other one is when he's in that tanning booth and he's like, "Bye, thanks for calling, never do it again. Tell my assistant she's fired."
I have one more Redmond line when they were calling him to find out what happened. When Liza starts speaking, he's like, "Oh, hi, Hodor." And if you watched Game of Thrones, Hodor was the big oafy kind of guy. So to show what he thinks.
She was so confused. She was so offended and confused.
I loved it. So that ends our Younger-isms. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for more next time we come back. Now we can get into our news and gossip segment.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, during the week, I just follow a bunch of the cast, and I'm all up in their stories and their Instagram pages, and I wanted to share some of my favorites with you. First, we have the ultimate throwback from Debi Mazar, which says, TBT, #Entourage, Season 1, when it was still fun.
Oh,
I know.
What?
Yikes.
So, sometimes we forget where our favorite cast members, what shows they were on before, but Debi was on Entourage. I remember she was an assistant or to one of the agents, and she said when it was still fun, I was like, damn, okay, I guess it stopped being fun.
Yeah, that was very shady boots.
Mm-hmm. Then we have Molly Bernard, whose handle is Bolly Bernard, which I love, and she says back to blonde thanks to an actual chemist and wizard who did her hair. She went platinum blonde, which I love.
It looks so good.
Always switching up her looks. And speaking of Molly, you never think, sometimes you're like, do these cast members really hang out together? And they do. And we have an image of Molly that she posted on her stories hanging out with Hilary and her husband and her baby.
Isn't she the godmother?
Is she? Because she posts the baby a lot.
I heard that
Okay,
somewhere.
that would make sense. That would make sense. And that
Allegedly, if it's not true, but I heard that.
She's the unofficial. And speaking of that, here's another picture of Molly with Matthew, Hilary's beau, having dinner, which I just love seeing them outside of the show, like in their real life and still interacting. And then our next photo is a cute photo of Hilary's baby, just looking adorable. I got this from her Instagram stories, and I was like, this baby is too cute. How scrumptious is this baby?
So cute.
Okay, so then last week, right, I did a poll question asking, what would you rather, Nico, with a fresh beat or a fresh face? And 71% of people said a fresh face, right? Am I looking at my notes correctly?
Yeah.
And then 29% said a fresh beat. One of those people, if we go to the next slide, was Nico himself.
Ooh.
He actually voted in my poll, so that means we're best friends, and he voted that he liked so fresh and so clean, like he likes himself with a fresh face. But he's been doing a fresh beat often, and I'm loving it, and I love everything you do, Nico, and #hearts.
Did he slide into your DMs after that
He
and
did
said thanks for
not.
being Team Josh?
He did not, but I feel like I'm gonna have to do a poem, so I think that's how he communicates. So yes, that's our news and gossip for this week. So we'll go into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Taylor, I'll start with you.
Oh my gosh, there were so many things this week. I'm just like, ooh, where do we even go from there? I think that this whole Audrey situation, I don't think it's gonna be the get that Zane really thinks it is. There's just too much like controversy and shade surrounding her. Like, she's terrifying, and I think that I don't know that that's gonna be like the big deal that he like originally wanted. Because if he's getting it that easily for himself, like, I don't know. I just don't see that all working out.
What do you mean?
So well.
Who's getting it easily?
Zane.
Okay. So you think it should have been a little bit harder?
Yeah, and she just, I mean, you saw her, like, she's sketchy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like maybe it's not gonna work out the exact way he wants, and maybe like Kelsey will get a win, and I think Quinn is gonna hit back hard from that, little cut interview,
Okay.
that little stunt that Kelsey pulled.
She's
and
gonna retaliate.
Yeah, Kelsey's gotta watch her back, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with you because I feel like it's going to come out that she's a murderer. And also, I get what you mean. It was too easy. Like, why would she go with, like, a no-name publisher? You know?
Right? I mean, they offered her a lot of money, but I don't know, like,
Money
what is going on in her
shmoney.
head?
There's no reputation yet. So, I don't know. My other prediction is that I totally think the feds are going to come take Clare and put her somewhere. If it ends like that, that is bringing me back.
Okay.
That's what I think. And I don't know. I think that Josh will get the baby, and then Liza will help him, and they'll somehow tie her back into that storyline. So I'll throw you a bone right there.
Thank you. I think that was, my genius that came up. But I think, Charles put his house up for this new company, and the reason that Audrey was so quick to sign up with this no-name company is because they offered her $800,000, which we saw that Charles took out just a little bit over $900,000. So he doesn't have that much money left, and I think Charles is going to go broke. And that will affect his relationship with Liza. I think, one, his relationship with Liza is affected by him stealing the Audrey book. Two, after having the experience of a wealthy man, no one wants to go back, slumming it. She's not gonna.
She almost slummed it back with Josh.
Listen, Josh is an entrepreneur and a struggling artist, okay?
He's not even struggling anymore.
No, I don't
Like,
think he's struggling.
Like, I'm Team Charles, but, like, Josh is doing well for himself.
Yeah.
He is. He's doing very well, but he doesn't have old school Charles money. So, like, I know Liza isn't shallow, but it does make a difference. Like, who's going to pay for the dinners now? You said they're splitting the bills. Next thing, is everything going to be on her?
His
We
card's
don't
getting
know.
declined.
Right, exactly. Hopefully Clare is gone for good, but
Claire, come back.
No.
You're not even gone.
Listen, Maury, please give us the test results. I need to know. But hopefully Claire is gone, and I really do think that this baby is going to be left with Josh, and also, like you said, left with Liza, because she's always around, and maybe Lauren and Josh will raise the baby together.
Okay, we actually, a couple seasons ago, we thought that Kelsey and Josh
We
had
did.
a future. I'm still not putting that out of the realm of possibility either, to be honest. I think it would just work out so nicely with like.
No, they're too good of friends.
And that's
it's
that's
too
like,
awkward.
Okay,
I don't
Sorry.
like it. That's like going
don't
against
like
girl
that.
code, so I do not like that. But
Lauren's gonna
like
end up with
it.
Maggie. Kelsey's gonna end up with someone who's hopefully not Zane, but
Josh.
well, we will see. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for checking out the Younger After Show right here on AfterBuzz Comedies. My name is Tsahai, and you can find me at Say Hi Tsahai. Where can they find you, Farai?
you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Farai, Farai with 5 eyes.
Amazing. You can find me on Twitter at alphabet_Ann and on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
See you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.